Hello, happy Friday. Thank you for joining me. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I am here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time where we can relax and craft together for about an hour. And we work on projects from beginning to end so you can be part of the whole process. So right now we are working on the Splendid Sampler 2. I am gonna go back to making blocks today. So we've spent a bunch of time working on free motion quilting and the quilt as you go process. So I can show you a little bit of that when I flip you guys around. But tonight we are going to start piecing. We've ran out of other stuff to do. We are back to piecing again. So we're gonna do Happy Days right here. That is the plan for tonight. So this looks like a nice, easy pieced block. We'll be cutting it tonight, and I think we're going to start sewing it too. This seems pretty easy. I was reading through the instructions and everything. I think the cutting is going to go okay, and the piecing. So I'm stoked to get going. I'm excited to get sewing again. It's been a little while for just straight seams. So all right. I'm with you, Valerie. All right, you guys, I'm going to flip you around and we'll get going tonight. Thanks again for joining me. Okay. So here we go, Happy Days. And let me just show you what we did yesterday. So first of all, we actually have that one done. So that's nice. There it is right there, actually. Here's the companion block over here, my flock, which is on the other side of what we're going to do tonight. So we have assembled all of these blocks. We have free motion quilted them, and we have joined them with our little binding flappy deal and sashing. So we have these, and then we have our whole first row is done. So this is our entire first row of my Splendid Sampler 2 quilt, a real row finished. So I'm sewing together 4 blocks into like a patch of 4, and then those 4 blocks I've been quilting, and then we are attaching those chunks together. So I'm doing a row of 5 sets of 4. So these are the 4. We're doing 5 sets of that. Oh, here's this one. This is with that poofier batting. And this guy, so that is the entire first row. Completely done, quilted, sandwiched, all of it. Except for the binding. So we just got to keep going. Now I ran out of blocks. I actually have 3 blocks that are just waiting for another one so I can sew them all together. And then I'm just going to rack up some more blocks, and then we'll sew them into 4 and free motion quilt them and do the whole process again. But I've been itching to do just some good pieced blocks. So we're going to start with this one. This is one of the new ones released this week. This is Happy Days by Chelsea Stratton, and it's on page 30. Looks fun and easy and peasy. So, all right, let's get started here. All right. Man, you guys, it's been a while since I've seen my little fabric bin here. So let's take out all of the creamy ones. So I'm saving these bright ones and these bold ones for like every 5 blocks I'm using it. So we're just using these. I've been using kind of the rule of my quilt is that I use white for the background wherever I can. Now this one, I don't really know what would be considered the background. I think I'm going to use the white for this light color. So just the lightest color, I'll use the white. All right, so what else should we do? What would be cute with the white for these little like arrows? I think those are really, well, this is kind of like a butterfly too, almost. Like a butterfly flying in this direction. There was another block that was released this week that I thought looked like a butterfly, but this is kind of like a butterfly too. I like it. All right, so what should go with that? I mean, we really can choose anything, right? Let's just kind of grab something. I do kind of still like Should we do some of this? I don't know. This is one of my favorite ones. This might be pretty as a border though. It kind of feels like this one to me. Let's maybe make this the border. All right. We could use up our little floral fabric. Maybe that should be a bigger area. This might be pretty. We could have kind of like a light middle area, and then we can frame it with this guy, and let's see what should be on the top. This could be like another kind of yellowish block. This is kind of cute. Maybe I want this for the inside. I like laying it out next to the block I'm doing, kind of in the proportions and in the in the shapes of what it's gonna be in, so I can kind of get a general picture. So I don't know. Right now I'm thinking this for the border here. I don't know why. I just for some reason like it there. The white for this whole background, and then for this, I don't know. I think I kind of like the lighter color better. Keep this on top. How about like that? I think that's pretty sweet. We kind of have a little bit of a darker, bolder exterior, and then a little lighter on the inside. I think we're done. Let's do it. I don't really have a lime green. Are you meaning like this one here? This is probably the closest to green. Let's see. What does that look like? I always kind of like this one too. This would be a good border. That would be kind of fun on the inside too, wouldn't it? Just because it's a little different. What should I do? Oh, it's Saturday for you. Yep, you're in the future, Noeline. That's nice. You know what? Maybe I will use this one. I think it's kind of bringing out some of these yellows that I didn't really ever pay attention to in these florals. So yeah, I think let's go with this one. All right, so I'm gonna throw all of these back in the bin here. I almost said the freezer. All right, throw them back in the freezer. They're going into cold storage. Okay, that's all we need, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 fabrics. Yeah, we got that there. All right, let's start cutting. I will probably press them really quick here. While, you know, in the middle of cutting. So I think I'm gonna just shimmy over here a little bit. Okay, let's start with the light print pieces. So that, in my case, I'm guessing is my white fabric here. So I'm gonna just put these guys over here. Okay. So there are a lot of fabrics that are matching up. In the sense of like there's a lot of 1.5 inch bits. So I'm wondering, I think I might cut some of these together. So like there's actually a lot of 1.5 things. I could just cut a bunch of 1.5 inch strips, but I think just because it's late and it's a Friday, I think I might go kind of one at a time. These I may go together. So these are 2 squares. So the light print, I need 2 squares that are 1.5 inches, and for the red print, which is this, I'm going to use this for the red print. I need 2 1.5 inches as well. So, I think I'll cut those together. So let's press those first. You know what? I got a perfect little corner here that we can get some stuff out of, so I'm gonna just press that for now. The nice thing is I can, you know, we're Frankensteining these pieces, meaning I've just been, you know, it's not like we're doing a quilt with tons of the same blocks where I can just cut all of my pieces all at once. I'm cutting them one by one out of all these fat quarters, so I end up with just weird shapes everywhere. You know, like here, you know, when do you get an edge like this except for a project like this? So we'll try and use this upper corner here. But yeah, so we gotta kind of search our areas out where we want to do it. Okay, so I need 1.5-inch squares. So that is 3 inches. If I cut a 3-inch piece out of both of these and then cut it in half, I will have a 3-inch square. All right, let's give it a go. You know, so instead of cutting strips today, I'm going to kind of just cut just chunks out of here. Oh my gosh, Julie, I love, love, love the iron. So this is my Panasonic 360 cordless iron. So cordless, meaning I can walk across the room, press something, or I can press a whole giant quilt top without having a cord getting in the way. All I have to do is whenever I'm not using it, I can't like stand it up because it's pointy on both ends, so you got to get used to that. But as long as I have the stand nearby, that has the cord. But again, it just needs to be nearby so I can plop it in there. It's the best. I love it so much. You don't realize how awesome not having a cord is until you don't have it anymore. Oh, Debbie, they said they were setting up the stuff in Target. Yay! So if you guys missed it yesterday, I had some big news. Our embroidery kits are just setting up in Target stores. So there's 4 of our kits. Some stores will just have 2, and they're not at every store either, but they will be at Target. So it's the owl, the llama, the unicorn, which is a new one, and hold on. Can't cut and talk. And another new one, the Tyrannosaurus. Bonnie, I just got it on, I was going to say Amazon, but you know what? I got it on Mass Drop when it was on there. So every once in a while, massdrop.com has sales, and that's where I got just like one of those kind of websites where there's sales for like a week or something, and then they go away sort of thing. I got it from there, but Amazon has them a lot of times for similar prices, so you can check it out there. I think I might have a link to it. All right. If I'm about to make a huge error on any of this, let me know, because cutting is scary for me. I always feel like I'm going to do something totally wrong. I'm gonna try and get these guys out of the way. Okay, that was weird. Yeah. Haven't cut in a long time. Glennis, I'm not sure. So for larger stores, they're at, okay, I need 1.5-inch squares. I'm gonna just cut them out of here. For larger stores, they're at Joann Fabrics and Target. So if you have a Joann Fabrics, they might be there. Otherwise, I would love to hear where you'd like them in Canada, and I will call them up and see if they want them. And that's the case for any store, you guys. If there is some place that you would like our kits at, feel free to message me, and I will contact them to see what's up. All right, you guys, we have a little bit done here. I don't think this is it for the white. Okay. All right, we need two 2.5-inch squares of the white as well. And that's the only thing that's 2.5 by 2.5. So we're just gonna cut that separately. Let's start putting these aside though. Oh, Joann's has them. Yes. All right, here we are. 2 white ones, and oh, these are so sweet, these bright colors. Okay. 2.5-inch. So that is a 5-inch kind of chunk. Is this 5 inches? I wonder. Let's see. Haha, this will work. So let's cut a nice edge here. And we'll cut a 2.5 inch bit out of here. So that's just to get my edge. Ooh, did it get a little bit more nicked? Nope, I think we're just right on the edge. It just kind of fell off there. Okay, and let's just grab another ruler. Instead of rotating it around, I'm going to use the double ruler method here. Oh my gosh, they're over 100 miles. Well, you guys, there's always, I always have everything on my website. The unicorn and Tyranno, and the new kit that will be, 2.5 inches. Close one. The new kit, the new Fishies customizable kit that will be at Joann's. So those 3 new kits are not up on the website quite yet, but we are actually launching our new website probably by the end of the weekend. So keep an eye out there. They will be on penguinandfish.com really soon too. So if you can't get it to a Joann's or Target, if they don't have them, or they might not have them, then there's always the website. But I'll be sure to let you guys know when that goes up to the new website. All right, so I'm just trimming this edge just to get a nice square edge. It looked pretty square already, but you know, gotta make it perfect. Oh, awesome! That's awesome, Dawn. Yeah, we will have them up. Oh, it'll be in a couple of days, and then they should be there as well. Okay, 2.5 inches. I need 2 of these. I think this is why I feel like I've been picking other blocks over these pieced blocks lately. And I think it's because of this step. I think it's just, I just get a little stressed with the cutting. Like I'm gonna miss something or do it wrong, or, I mean, I guess it's just fabric, but I don't know. And there's blades, there's sharp things everywhere, you know. It's dangerous. All right, that's it for our white. We just needed the 2 small squares and the two larger squares here. So that's that. So moving on, we have the next part started. So this is the red print. In our case, it's this yellow. All right, we have the 2 1.5 inch squares, and now we need 2 rectangles that are 2.5 inches by 1.5. So, all right, back to this. Let's see. We could just cut one nice long 1.5 inch strip. Then we would need, okay, 1.5 and 1.5 is 3, and the 2.5 by 2. Oh, wait. Let's do that again. 1.5, a strip. So if I did 2, then I just need a 5 inch place. Okay, so that's easy enough. Yeah, so how can we find a tiny 5 inch area here? Or we could do it the other way where we do like 2.5 by 3, but I think we're better off. Is this 5 inches? How far down is that? All right, I'm gonna just chunk it out of here. This poor piece of fabric. 2.5, 5. Yep. All right. Okay, and 1.5. 1.5. All right, now I'm going to rotate. Could have probably done the 2 ruler. Oh yeah, I didn't press this area, did I? Nah, I think it's probably good enough. We're gonna actually kind of cut right there anyway. But you're right, I forgot to press this area here. We'll give it a little press when we're done. Okay, 1.5. Oh, I didn't really cut that very straight either. All right. Five, and I'm gonna just kind of trim it off here. We're just getting by tonight with the cutting. Oh gosh, that isn't straight at all. We need to get a square edge here. There we go. Now we're good. Oh, you like cutting more than sewing, Leslie? Oh man. I don't know. I think cutting for me would be a little bit more enjoyable. 2.5 in a different project where I could cut like rows and rows. Like if I'm doing a quilt that has like, you know, I don't know, 16 of the same block or something, and I have to cut like 30 strips of that's all the same. I think that would be more enjoyable to me, because then it would be like mini projects. Like I'd get the, you know, blue strips all done, and then I'd have to do the red squares and all that. I think that would feel better for me. Like all this like cutting piecemeal and did I get them all and checking them off the list and all that, that's, I think, maybe less for me, less enjoyable. Okay. All right, so here are these. We got those, I think this is it for the red print. Yep, that's it. So that's our whole center area of this block. Okay, next up, 2 green prints. So that's our top and bottom. This was our, wait, yeah. This was gonna be our top fabric. We have 2 at the top and 2 on the sides. So I need 2, and I will press this time. I forgot again. All right. 1.5 by 4.5 inch. So if we get lucky and this is 9 inches, I could cut just straight down there. Actually, let's measure first. Yes, okay, perfect. So I'm just gonna trim this nice edge, cut my 1.5 inch piece, and then I just basically will cut it in half, and we will have what we need on that perfect little edge there. Okay. Make sure my iron's still on. There's fuzzles all over this guy. All right. So there's a little nick down here, but you know what? Maybe it's far enough away. Yeah, I'm gonna ignore the nick because it's a little past the 9 inches. So instead of wasting some fabric, I'm just gonna cut a smaller edge off of here. All right, rotate this around. Okay, 1.5 inches. Yep. A lot of, that's one of the nice things I'm noticing with this block in particular. There's a lot of similar sizes. So there's like a lot of 1.5 inch pieces, a lot of like 2.5 inch. That's making it a little easier on my brain right now. All right, we're done with this piece of fabric. But it's crazy how little fabric you need for these sometimes. All right, let's get that on edge. I like this ruler better. I think this is my favorite ruler right here. Actually, it is. I am making a definitive statement. This is my favorite ruler, I think. First of all, it's 6.5 inches, so it's the size of the blocks that we need. So I can use it to make sure that we've sewn everything together and it's the right size. And I just love these OmniGrid ones, how many markings they have. And the markings are little in the sense that they're thin. Like with this one, this is a Fisker's ruler. Just, I feel like these markings are so fat, except for now that I'm looking at them, they look about exactly the same. So I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it's like I just like all these extra markings. I don't know what it is, but these ones, they feel really fat and these ones they don't. But that's the first time I actually put them right next to each other and they look exactly the same. So I don't know what the deal is. I do like all these extra little tick marks though. They come in handy every once in a while. 4.5. Yeah, 4.5. 8, 9, yeah. Ugh, thought I did my math wrong for a second there. But I think we are just have barely enough fabric here. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why I'm not feeling the cutting as much. It relies heavily on me getting the math right. And maybe it's the time of day. Maybe cutting for me should be like a morning project, and then the sewing can be the evening project. I'm better at thinking things in the morning. All right, that's that. We only have one other thing to cut, and we are ready to sew, which is awesome. We will definitely get to some sewing tonight. Okay, we got this guy. This is that oddball shaped one. I think it's just like an 1/8 inch, or an 1/8 of a yard or something. Okay, we need, okay, blue print strips. This is our blue. We need 2 1.5 by 6.5 inches. I doubt that this is 13 inches. No. So let's see. What do we got over here? We could cut out a chunk, or I could just cut out 2 strips and have some extras. I think that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna just clean up this piece a little. I'm gonna cut 2 strips, and then we'll just cross cut to get our 6.5 inches, and I'll just have like a whole pile of extra. That's what you get sometimes. And we'll just clean up this weird curved edge too. We'll have a big scrap that we can use for like foundation paper piecing later. You're much better in the morning, yourself too. Yeah, I have certain tasks that I set aside for morning, and certain tasks that I just wait on till the evening for sure, because it just all doesn't work in the morning. Okay, so that's a pretty good scrap that we'll use later. Flop it over there already. Okay, and you know what, I'll rotate it. I was gonna use the 2 ruler method, but this is fun doing it this way, I think. Okay, 1.5 inch strips. 1.5. Okay, there we are. And then 1 more like that. And then we gotta cross cut them to the 6.5 inches, and we'll do that. We'll layer them on top of each other. All right, done with that fabric. I love though when all your big chunks of fabric go away. Now I'm just left with the pieces. I like it. Okay, I'm gonna stack these. I'm just gonna get the edges lined up as best I can. All right, let's cross cut this one edge. Let's just get this edge all neat. I'm lining up the ruler along my bottom edge, and then that's how I know it is square. Okay, and I'm just gonna, instead of rotating the strips because they're stacked all nicely, I'm just gonna rotate my whole mat here. And 6.5 inches, that is the size of our ruler here, which makes sense. It is going the whole length of the block, and our blocks are 6.5 inches. There, that's not much waste, and we'll use it again somewhere. Okay, our pieces are done. So I always kind of like laying them out at this stage just to kind of get a sneak peek. So I'm just looking at the picture. I'll show you the picture again in a sec here. So those look like they go there. I think these guys go something like this. get some little white squares in there. This will be sweet. I'm glad we went with that darker, brighter color because I think maybe that other yellow, maybe that would have been a little too subtle. Okay, and then these. Oh, this is fun. So these feel like they go together. So I think this will be a nice frame. It'll be a sweet black, I think. All right. I do really, really love the colors that were used in the original. So here's Chelsea's block here. And I don't know, that red with this red herringbone is just too cool. But we're sticking with our blonde quilt here. And you know what? I think this is going to be nice too. All right, let's sew. First up, it looks like we make a couple pairs here. So let's make a pair of these and a pair of these. And it looks like we press towards this yellow. So first up are those two, and then we'll take them off the machine and press. And then we get to stick one of these guys on. So this will be one of those projects where we're rotating. We're done with the cutting, thank goodness, but we're going to rotate between the machine and the pressing mat. So I definitely like that my pressing area is right here. That's the nice part about working in a teeny tiny space. All right, I'm focusing on sewing straight. I can get kind of sloppy, and so I'm really thinking about my seam allowance, making that scant 1/4 inch, which just means it's a 1/4 inch seam allowance, meaning you're sewing, the needle is a 1/4 inch away from the edge, but we're doing just a hair, like a literal hair, less than that, to make up for basically the thickness of the fabric when we unfold it. All right, and then our leader here. Okay. Our little pieces, so let's jump to the ironing board. Zoop. All right. Scooch these guys, don't need them anymore. Okay, let's press these, and we're gonna press the seam allowance so it's towards the yellow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just lay the yellow part on top, give it a little press, and then open it up, and then push the yellow over. Oh, I hear you, Bonnie. I think so too. It is fun, and I love that I can sew with you guys here. This is really the only time I sew is with you guys in the evenings here. Every once in a while by myself I'll knit a little something or crochet just to like have my hands busy or just to chill, but this is where I do my sewing with you guys here. All right, there we go. Our 2 pieces. So next up, we gotta sew these guys to it. Oop, but I think in this direction. So I'm looking at the photo, or at the diagrams, the instructions. So we'll go like this, and we're gonna make them exactly the same. Okay, so scooch these guys out of the way. So here's one, and then the next one, it'll be the same. All of it should be the same direction. There we go. Two matching pairs here. Okay, let's sew those. All right. We're matched up. I'm gonna get my little stiletto in here to help. It's an extra little finger in here. And you know what? I think we've been using this needle for quite some time. I feel like it's trying to push my fabric through into my machine, and I think this might be the same needle that we've been doing all of this all of our free motion quilting and everything, so I think it's about time for a new needle. So before we get back on this on Monday, I'll switch the needle out. Get a new sharp one on there. It feels like it's working a little too hard. Oh, I need another leader. Let's get a couple more squares. My squares for the leaders, my little stacks are getting kind of low, which is awesome. That means we've gone through a ton of these. I'm just waiting for the first Friday in April, then we'll see how far we are on making these half square triangle leaders. Maybe we'll just sew them together. We'll trim them, what we've got, and just start sewing them together into rows and see what happens, maybe. Or in like blocks of 12 or something, I don't know, or 16, that would make more sense. All right, let's pop these open, and there we go, cute, cute. So these are also pressed towards the yellow side so that the seam allowance is aiming towards the yellow. So that is next up. I like these types of blocks. They're kind of like log cabin blocks where you just keep adding around and around and around. So it's almost like it's the start of a log cabin here. But you know, this is where we stop. But the next part, we're just adding another chunk on. I like it. We just keep adding. And all of a sudden, it's all sewn together. That's pretty cute. All right, again, I like putting the yellow up and then pressing it. Oh my gosh, for a second there, I thought I had this flipped the other way so that it was the wrong side up, but we're good. We're safe still. Oh, Tracy, we are working on Happy Days. This is on page 30. All right, now we can arrange. Oh, actually, we sew these to it, but I think let's arrange first. So one's like that, and boop, boop, boop. There we go. That looks right. So now we're gonna sew these, and then we're ready to sew that. You guys, we might even finish this block tonight. This is crazy. We have hardly anything left to do here. This did, at first glance, this did not look like a one evening block, but you know what? We are just practically done with it. We got a good 15 minutes left. We can do it. That's a good way to start doing piece blocks again, by just finishing them in one day. That's good. I like it. All right. Second up. All we have to do is just keep jumping around, jumping to the pressing mat. Oh my gosh, I did not sew that seam well. That was way more scant than I was intending. I gotta get another leader started here. I'm just gonna sit it down. I can't really, I've been folding it just so it would have a diagonal line, but I can't really see it. I'm being sloppy with these because we're gonna just trim them down later. All right. Trim, trim, trim. Okay, hopefully I sewed these together. Let's just peek. Did sew the wrong edges together or something? Oh, good. Yay, it's cute. Okay, now, oh, we're gonna press towards the white this time. Okay, so that's a little bit different. I'm looking to know that I'm looking at the pressing guide in the book. So if you guys haven't done anything with these books yet, so here we are. The arrows, it's kind of like a weird half arrow, but it's pointing in the direction that the seam allowance should go. So like here, we pressed towards the red, which is our yellow, and then pressed towards the yellow again. And now look, we're pressing towards the white on both of these. So now I'm going to put the white on top. Give that a little press. And then just lift it up and move it over. You know, it makes sense that we're pressing towards the white now because it's the least bulky, right? It's only the one piece of fabric versus this that's got a whole pile of seams. So that's not going to want to bend anymore, right? With all those seams, we would be forcing it to go this way, right? Look at all that bulk there. So it's just easier to press towards the lighter color. You know, you hear people say, oh, like usually press towards the dark side because a lot of times with the light, if you're pressing towards the light color, like what we are now, you can see the fabric through. But again, in this case, it's the less bulky. It's the less bulky side, so it's probably worth it. There you can kind of see. I mean, I'm kind of holding it up to the light, but yeah. But again, less bulky. It's easier to just let this stay flat. Okay, let's sew those together. Let's make sure that we got it right again, though. Okay, I think we can kind of cheat here. So let's try something. We're cheating. All right, I'm going to sew these tops on first because then I can chain stitch them. I can sew this one, then this one, and then take them both off, and then I'm gonna sew the middle together. So that's a little bit different than the instructions say. Typically, you want to finish the inner block here, but I'm going for speed. So let's sew these two together and these two, and then I'll come back and sew the middle, and then all we have to do is chunk these guys on. But this will be a little less moving around, a little less back and forth, I think. And we can sew two things at once, whereas we would have had to take it off the machine before. But ultimately, that's where it's going to go, so I don't think we're harming anything by doing this. All right, kitty scratch this into place. If the fabric just needs to move over just like a tiny hair, I just scratch the top. I call it kitty scratching, like you're scratching the top of a head of a kitty cat. Okay, and then this guy. Oh, nice, Kim. You are on a roll. Oh yeah, this is where I sewed, kind of funny. So once you start sewing these longer strips to pieces that had smaller cuts of fabric that you pieced together, that's where it starts to reveal how well you actually sewed it. Like, for example, like this right here, I'm noticing that it's kind of lined up with this edge. Gosh, not totally, but it's kind of lined up there. But I have a lot of excess white at the bottom. So that makes me think that my 1/4 inch, I'm making it too small. If I have excess fabric over here, because this is like an actual measurement, like this piece here should end up being the size of this. If it's a little big, then I'm probably making my seam allowance too small. So that's just something I need to watch and pay attention to in the future. Especially on blocks that have a ton less, like a lot, or a lot more blocks, or a lot more little pieces. That's what I'm trying to say. Right, I looked at the pressing guide for this, and we press, again, we're pressing towards the path of least resistance, which is the one solid piece versus the piece that has all these seams in. Those seams want to stay flat, so that's what we're doing. Okay, so I'm pressing with that orange on the top. And then just flipping the flap. Flipping the flap! That's a good phrase. I like it, flipping the flap. All right, now we're going to go back to that step that I skipped. Now we're going to sew this together. So the beauty of this is that we've pressed our seam allowances in opposite direction. We actually, if it's equal, like if we're sewing the same piece here, they're actually in the same direction, but since we're rotating one 180, the seam allowance rotates 180 as well. And that allows us to sandwich nest the seams together. So you can see where the fold is, it makes a little bit of a bump. So those bumps are opposite of each other, and when you can just feel them when they're against each other like that. So we're lining up our edge and putting those bumps together. And normally I might just sew without clipping it, but I got a wonder clip right here, so I'm going to just clamp down on that nice bit there. And why this is important is this is what makes our seams line up perfectly, and hopefully that will be the case here. So if you want your points to line up, I should say, then nesting your seams together like this is my favorite way to get points to line up. All right, so I'm going to remove this. I can still feel that those edges are bumped together. All right, so I'm through both fabrics, and I'm just going to kind of line up my edge again. You know, I really do think it's trying to change my needle. I can kind of tell by how my stitching is looking. It's kind of bunching up the fabric a little bit, and I just think it wants a new needle. All right. So we got to press that, and then we just have to sew our two sides on, and then we're done. Okay, back over here to our pressing mat. Let's see. Oh, we just pressed to one side. It doesn't look like it matters which side we press to. Oh, let's check our point. Oh, I'm a little off, but see here, this is what I'm talking about. The nesting seams, in theory, if I do it perfect, this whole line, like this seam coming down here to the point, should match up perfectly with this seam. I am just a tiny hair off. So I must have moved a little bit when I nested the seams together. But if you do it just right, then they will match up super duper perfect. Guess it wasn't meant to be tonight. Okay. So if we have sewn this together with a good seam allowance, it should now be the exact size of these 6.5-inch strips. So this is kind of where we see how well we did. So with a little, if it's just laying there, then it doesn't look, I look like I'm a little short, like maybe 1/8 of an inch short. But because there's all these folded seams, I think if I just pull it a little when I sew it, I think will be good. So what was that phrase again, you guys? Was it the butt on the bottom, or was that, I know we talked about this, but if I want the bottom to stretch while I do the top, or if I want this piece to stretch while I sew this on, I put this on the bottom, right? Is that the phrase? There was a special trick to remember that, and clearly I did not remember it correctly. I thought you guys said the butt's on the bottom. I don't know. All right. Until you guys tell me. I know there's like a 7-second delay for me seeing your guys' comments. Saggy bottoms. Oh, is that what it is? Oh, wait, no. But then I don't know. I feel like, if I remember right, I thought the phrase was opposite of what I thought it meant. Big butt on the bottom. Oh, so the bigger one is on the bottom. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, you're right. The big one on the bottom, because then I can stretch this one out on top. That's, or bulk on the bottom? No, okay. The big on the bottom. Okay, the bottom needs to be the longest. All right, so I was doing it the wrong way. All right, so we will do the big on the bottom. That makes sense now. Now it's clicking again. And here's why it makes sense. I'll show you once I start stitching here. Okay, so the big on the bottom. So my strip was a hair bigger than this. The strip is on the bottom now, and the feed dogs are gonna be pulling it along, so it's gonna be grabbed. So that's going at a steady clip, the bottom. Whereas the top just slides underneath the presser foot here, so I have the ability to manipulate it a little bit, and since I need this to be a little longer, while I stitch, I can just pull on it just a hair. Not so much that it gets puckery and whatever, all I need it is to be like an 1/8 inch bigger, so I'm gonna just pull on it a little bit, the machine will pull that bottom piece under, and I can fake it on the top. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm actually gonna just hold, I'm gonna line up the two bottoms, and I'm gonna hold that tight, and that's how I'm gonna do it. So here we go. So we're stretching the top just slightly. Which is the opposite of what I was thinking was gonna be the problem. Because remember, I was thinking my seam allowances were too small and I needed to make them bigger, but I don't know. Maybe I should just not overthink it tonight. How about that? 2 more pieces. Ooh, that's a pretty wrinkly piece. All right, so I'm gonna snip this off and then we'll get that other side right away. That piece is done. There we go. So now our edges totally match up pretty much, I think. They match up a whole lot better, at least, so yay! All right, let's do the same with this other side. So big on the bottom, is that what it was? Big on the bottom, that's the key phrase. That's the word I needed, was the big part, because now it makes sense. The big on the bottom, big on the bottom. Not butt on the bottom, what was I thinking? I don't know. Okay. Well, I don't need to, I was trying to line up both ends right away, but I don't need to do that. I can just start stitching so it's on the machine. And now I'm gonna grab both ends and we'll pull on it a bit. Okay. Just get my stiletto in here to help me out. There you are. The stiletto kind of acts as a pin, so I can just kind of hold it there. Although I am sort of scratching my table by doing that, but oh well. It's well loved. How about that? Okay, and I'm gonna just steal this leader and use that. All right. Clip. All right. All we have left is to press this. We totally finished a block tonight. Dang, I'm so happy about that. All right, again, it's the path of least resistance for pressing, meaning we press towards the solid piece of fabric here, not the part with all the seams in it. So we're just gonna get both of these at once. And then the moment of truth, we will see how close to 6.5 inches we got on this. And we should be pretty dang close because we know that these strips are 6.5 inches. So I would like to think that the other direction we got pretty close. It's a smart block where it's helping us keep the size and shape along the way. Man, this one's a little wiggly here. Well, once we quilt it and we sew it all together, I'm sure it'll be a little bit better. But, all right, let's take a look. Oh, it's pretty from far away. It's pretty on the gray. Oh, thanks, Jenny. Yeah, it's always a surprise how it's going to turn out, but I don't know. It's sweet. I really like it. So let's do a quick measurement. yeah, we are just a little shy this way just because, I don't know, I'm just not doing it quite. Maybe I just need to press it a little bit more. But again, once we get this all quilted, it's you know, we'll be totally fine. But yeah, I'm just shy, like not even a 16th of an inch. Well, yeah, maybe a 16th of an inch all the way around. And I don't know. I'm a little shy. Not too bad. Oh, yours looked a little wiggly too, Jane? Oh, okay. Good. I don't feel so bad. All right, there we go. Straight down. It's sweet. I like it. I was not expecting this at all, you guys, to get this done tonight. So this is a huge bonus. All right, I do really like these reds still, but I think this is sweet. All right, ooh, and hey, we got 4 finished ones now. Let's pretend we're making a block. Let's see what happens. These are all very, all these don't have a lot of white in, except for this elephant. The elephant is like the odd man out in this little square. I'm not gonna be sewing all these together yet, though. I'm gonna continue to make just a whole stack of these again, and then we'll kind of grab randomly at them like we did last time. But awesome! All right, you guys, I'm gonna flip you around, and we'll call it an evening. This took like exactly an hour. A leisurely, chit-chatty hour is how long this guy took. And that's with cutting and everything, so not too shabby. I was not expecting to get this block done. So here we are. This is what it looks like with a person. I just feel like the size, you get a sense of size a little bit more when you see it next to a person, but I think it's cute. Yay! Getting our piecing game on again, people. So, all right, that's what we're going to do all next week as well. I am, yeah, back to the grindstone, Jennifer. Back to the grindstone of getting these pieced blocks. But I don't know, I'm jazzed up for the pieced ones now. We haven't done any of those in a long time. So hopefully it just is smooth and we get a bunch of them done. Ooh, Gretchen, you're going to Target tomorrow. Awesome. You guys, if you see my embroidery kits at Target, take a photo and message it to me or post it somewhere and share it with me. I'd love to see them in your store. So thanks again, you guys. Have a fabulous weekend. I will be back here on Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And this will go up on YouTube probably tomorrow morning. So check it then. If you hit subscribe and notifications, a little bell on YouTube, then you should get an email when it's live. So thanks again. Have a great weekend. Good night.